The way you position your sales call will have a huge impact on whether or not you close more deals, get more PIFs, make more money. I see too many business owners, they position their sales call as this free strategy session where the prospect now assumes the call is for them to get more information on whatever it is the business owner is selling. But when you have a proper sales process in place and the prospect shows up to the sales call knowing they have to make a decision by the end of that call and it is not an information call, obviously there's a few steps involved to make sure you take a total stranger and by the time they show up to that call, that time in between, we provide all that information step by step. And that's what I want to break down to you, how you can position your sales call, or if you run a sales agency, your clients' sales calls as decision calls instead of info calls, and the sales process you need in order to make that happen. My name is Baz Verk. I run RevenueGrowth.io. We're a sales agency and we build and manage sales teams and processes for 7 and 8 figure companies, service-based companies. And we also partner with sales reps to help them build out sales teams and processes in their own verticals. And we partner with them so we can make a lot of money together, and we just want to be in as many verticals as possible. So if you're good at sales and you want to have a sales agency in your vertical, just reach out to me somewhere, email, DM on social media, whatever, and happy to chat with you about building something out in your vertical. That being said, subscribe, like, share, all that good noise. Let's dive in. Where when people show up to your call, they're not looking for more info, rather they're there to ideally make a decision. But this all happens prior to the call, right? So typical process is ad. They see an ad, they click on it, they give you their data, right? From the opt-in page. They're going to give you the name, email, phone number. A couple things have to happen. Number one, they have to go into an email sequence immediately, right? We want to stay top of mind for at least the next 8 to 10 weeks. You also have to send them immediately, or you can automate this, send them a text or SMS. This could be automated as well as manual. And then you have phone setters or triagers that call the lead within 5 minutes. This one's non-negotiable. And the goal here is to triage and qualify them, right? Let me fill this in a little bit. You triage and qualify the lead. This way, they are not there for information. You give them all the information here. You send them resources, which I'll get into next year. But this is where you qualify. You make sure they have the money. You make sure the setting of the call is done to make sure on the call they're there to make a decision, and then you book the sales call. And then confirmation of that sales call should be done either by the closer or another team member. So that's step one, right? Opt-in page. Then we have something called a unique mechanism VSL. This is basically what is differentiating you or the offer that you're selling as a business owner or as a sales rep. What's separating you from the rest of the market? All right, so it could be two things. Or a combination, which usually works really good. True market insight, actual stuff you're doing currently to solve the problem that you're solving. Whatever it is that your offer does, what is it that you're actively doing? And I'm talking about tangible things, actual insights you can give them prior to them jumping on the call. Like, we're trying to give away a lot of value. All right, that's one side of the VSL. The other side is your story, right? People have to resonate with you. You have to sell yourself and the results you've produced in the past, whether you're a business owner or you have to make sure as a sales rep, the prospects are getting the true insight as well as the business owner's story prior to the sales call. We want to give away as much value as possible. Our goal here, especially in today's market, is to charge for implementation, not the how-to. We're not trying to charge for information because that's like low ticket, 2K, 3K courses and stuff. We're not trying to do that. We charge as a sales agency 10, 15, 20, 25K upfront with a percentage. So you want to give away valuable insights, valuable how someone can, if they're having no-show issues, how someone can solve that. If they're having hiring recruiting issues, how they can solve that. You need to have all these assets built out that you're able to send to your prospects prior to the sales call. And then you have to sell the process, right? Remember, as a sales agency, even if you have just a service providing business for other businesses, you have to walk them through a sales process that is dialed in because they are judging you on that. If no one calls them, let's say within 5 minutes, they know whoever you put in place for their business to call their leads in 5 minutes is not going to happen. If you're not giving them the how-to, you won't do it for their clients. If you're not selling yourself, you're not going to do it for them to their clients, so on and so forth. So they're judging you on this entire sales process. All right. Next is the booking page or the CTA. Once someone has, again, this is the ad, right? This is the whole process of the ad, opt-in page. They see the VSL booking page and then post-booking page. This is still the ad, but all this stuff on the bottom is what's happening simultaneously as people are doing or watching the ad. So it's very fast-paced, right? So once they get to the booking page, two things happen. On the back end of ads, the offer you're selling on, or if you're a business owner, it's your offer. It's two things, two calendars you can connect it to, either the closer calendar directly or the triager's calendar. This one with the closer's calendar, it's usually good if your lead flow is lower or not enough calls are being booked, and you can just have the closer reach out and qualify the people. Automated the resources sent out, closer qualifies, and again, the confirmation or reminder of the calls is done by a different team member. If your lead flow is very good, let's say your calendars are booked out 3 days, 4 days in advance, then you want to add some friction in there, right? Because instead, just add a triage or add a qualifying friction level in there. And then that confirmation is done by a different team member. It's a totally different calendar, different person taking the triage. It could be a good setter. And then those calls are there they're more or less intro/discovery calls. They're there to qualify the leads, exposing them to more education, more content, and also setting up the sales calls as a decision call, right? You want to send them value, send them sales assets and resources. This way, they don't go to the sales call looking for information. We want to get rid of all that prior to, right? And then you book to the closest calendar. Personally, we prefer this, but after a certain point of ad spend. In the beginning, that you should do this. Just book the calls directly to the calendar. Once it starts to get booked out 3 days in advance or more, anything past that, your no-shows will go up. So once that starts happening, you're getting booked out 4 or 5 days in advance. Add a friction, add a triager and a triager calendar, and then you can even have your closer do both, but ideally a different person. So that is on the booking page. Next, after someone has booked a call and the triager has qualified, so on and so forth, post-booking the call, pre-call, again, cannot stress this enough, the closer call or the sales call or whatever your strategy session, whatever you have it named as, you want to give them out as much info as you possibly can on your offer prior to that call. You want to bombard them in information, right? You want to give them testimonials and case studies. You want to use FAQs, all the objections your closers or your sales reps get on sales calls. Put them out there. Put them out there up front and solve them and tackle them, whatever you want to call it, up front prior to the sales call. Your VSL or other, selling to many sales assets. Like for me, we do a lot of lucid charts, and I'll send this out to a lot of the prospects. We send out all the objections, all the FAQs. We send out testimonials, case studies, call reminder cadence. Just make sure someone is always reminding them for the call. It's the setter or the triager, whoever booked the call is responsible for that. And the night before and the morning of, this is mandatory. Reminders for salespeople to remind them on the call. And then if the prospect still hasn't answered, you go 120 minutes before the call, you double dial them. 60 minutes before the call, you double dial them. 30 minutes double dial, 15 minutes double dial, 5 minutes double dial. You keep blasting them basically until they either say, yeah, I'll be on the call, or please stop calling me, one or the other. And that is the process we have implemented across multiple offers to make sure when people show up to these sales calls, they are not looking for more info or they have no idea what it is you do, and the leads are qualified. Again, the goal of sales calls is not to have just your calendar look all colorful and full of appointments. You want to have as quality appointments as absolutely possible, because there's other things that go into play, which is for different video, but you have call rate, then you have show rate, you have offer rate, you have close rate, so on and so forth. Your offer rate should not drop below 80%. If that happens, that means the leads being booked on the calendar, sales call calendar, are not as qualified. So you add the friction in to make sure that happens, and you want to have all quality calls for all your closers. And that's it for this one. Hopefully you got some sauce out of this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.